And we're live on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum show today. We're going to talk a little Kanban, a little Scrum, which things you need to know as a Agile Project Manager, a little Agile PM. Got to know a little bit of everything. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Felt like it needed to be talked about because we talked about on certifications, the Kanban. And while we're doing this, I'm going to put banners. I'm going to put the certification one up on the screen and share that. So as we can see, Kanban is very high from our Tuesday night program. And speaking of night programs, tonight I'm going to broadcast or rebroadcast or play the recorded part from the IIBA Philadelphia meeting we had last week and building in the $1 million Agile team so that everyone can see it who didn't get the chance to attend. And that'll be on tonight, I think at 8 o'clock tonight, I believe. And anyway, so that's at 8 tonight. Hope you get to see it, and it'll be saved up there too. But we're just going to do an experiment on LinkedIn and broadcast on there. And I'm seeing how the StreamYard works for putting out content at different times, pre-recorded content. Want to do more interviews. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Kanban today and Scrum and how the two fit together, and neither shall two meet. No, I'm kidding. And anyway, it's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way. We're going to get some practical and tactical today and some fundamental stuff. And we do this so we can bring value to customer, not work crazy hours to get that value, get home to family and friends, and have fun along the way. So with that said, let's talk Kanban. Woohoo! Most people who use Kanban really don't practice Kanban, to be honest with you. One of my teachers at one of the search called it proto Kanban. Okay. I think it's just his way of saying it's not Kanban. Very infantile stages of Kanban. So we're going to talk a little proto Kanban, not get into all the nuances. I just want to share one thing though. I have noticed that these Kanban certs, the next level, more and more looks like Scrum, or more and more looks like Safe, or more and more looks like less from a Kanban perspective, and the amount of ceremonies that they do as you grow it. I kind of think it takes away from Kanban. There's some courses that don't do that, but there's other places that are trying to make it more bigger, broader, cover more areas. So be mindful of that when you take these Kanban certifications and what's going on. I think we're got a little bit of signal drop there, but let's see. Okay, so I got my trusted whiteboard here. So we're going to write Kanban. Right? Oops, classic. So, classic Kanban. And there's also Scrum, right? And you got Scrum. And I'm going to put these next to each other because I want to highlight some of the difference in things. So in Kanban, just like a Scrum board that you might use, right? I'll get over here a little bit. Sorry, Bubbles. Bubbles, like, what are you doing? I'm laying here. All right. So let's say you have a starting pile of work. There could be a giant backlog, product backlog, kind of the same thing with Scrum and Kanban, right? It's a big old backlog, lots of stuff to do. The reason why you got a big backlog is no one ever did anything, and it just kept growing, by the way. Just most places. You have so let's say you're getting ready to start and you want to take some work on to start working. Say you pick, let's say we pick the top 5. Boom. And then we start with I like a to-do, because these are the ones we said we're going to do. So maybe there's 5. 4, 5 in the to-do column, okay? And in Kanban, they use WIP limits. And let's say the max in the to-do column is 5. And that's our 5 WIP. Okay, so we're a 5 WIP. Then what you typically do in Kanban, and there's this game there is a Kanban game out there that's really good to do. If you can do that Kanban game with your team before you practice it, I'd advise it. Maybe one show will actually do the game, and we'll go through the scenario here. So we got our to do, and maybe the first part of developing is to analyze what you want to build. So maybe there's an analyst step or analyst. It could be writing a story, getting some data, collecting data. Maybe there's collecting data. I don't know. Depends what you're doing. Collecting data. Okay. And then or I don't want to call it develop or plan or there's a thing. Hey, the network is funny. Yeah, it's probably bad connection. Everything's plugged in now. I blame it on the wife. The network's down. It's my wife's fault because it's her off day today. And there's the development area. Okay, I'm going to keep it simple. And then we do testing. Test and approve. Are done. Okay. And what you do is put in each section, let's say you have one BA or one analysis person on your team. So you do a whip of 3 in here. And dev, you might have a 4. And test, you might have a 3. And then done, it doesn't matter, right? Done is out the door. We don't care anymore. And we're good to go. So here, the max you can have in here in the analysis 3. The max you can have in dev is 4. And the max you can have in test is 3. Right? So that would be the max stuff you can have on this board. 5 in the to-do, 3 in analysis, 4 in development, 3 in testing, and then done everything. It just can go to done. So with this said, you cannot move any of these ones over until you move something that's in front of it. It's a way of creating that space. So let's say we took one of these here in test. We finished something in test. And we're going to move that over. We got that into done. So now we have an open spot. And that opens up a 1 in here to move that there, right? Now, this is where I got 3 there. Now I got 3 things in test going on. I have 3 things in dev. So now what I do, the question is, what can I move into dev? Let's say I move something into dev. Okay. So we have these spaces. And then if we want to, as we work these, we look at here to bring something into the analysis phase. Okay. I don't want to do that right now, but in theory, you can bring an analysis one, but hold off on that. Always work from the right first. Someone mentioned that the other day about working from the right to left. So always work on the right before you go left. So if you're going to work on something that day, you work on all these things. Now, really, when I talk about developers and people working on stuff, I like to limit them to, I want to be honest with you, 3 things would be good. We all know that doesn't work. So limit 3 to 4 things per person. Okay. Usually I do 2 dev and 1 bug because there's always a bug. Test always finds something. So I don't like to get too far into developing lots of stuff when I got bugs coming back into the fold because it just messes up the developers, to be totally honest with you. So let's say I got another one of these the data analysis done things, right? I have this one's ready to go. Let's say this one's done. I'm going to put a D here, ready to go into the next phase, but I can't. You can't go in there because this is packed. Okay. So one of the things that can happen is one of these analysis people that used to do this can come over here to testing to help move up some testing. Maybe this is done too, and maybe that's done. But because there's 3 things in test, I can't move anything from the dev and the testing. So the idea, and this is where the agile part comes in, is where people that were doing development analysis would swarm onto testing and try to get these couple of these out of here. Okay. So they want to get these 2 out so they can move these 2 that are in dev that are complete into there. So they're going to swarm on those. Not a lot of companies do the swarming part. Not a lot of companies implement the WIP limits. Okay. And that's key to Kanban operating efficiently. Now, one of the other things is that you could look at is that, and I'm just keeping this short because we do a 15-minute show. We're at 10 minutes already. So that is the basics of Kanban. When you go into a team and they say, oh, we're doing Kanban, see if they're practicing the WIP limits. See if they're swarming on stuff. Or is it just everyone says, well, I'm just a developer. I'm just a tester. I'm just an analyst. I don't do the other things. Then they're not practicing Kanban. Maybe they're practicing a proto Kanban. They just have columns on the thing to differentiate where their work is. But the idea is that the team as a group, the interaction, because the goal, if you look at Kanban, like we talked about the manifesto yesterday, the goal is working software over here. It's not writing specs. This is not the goal. This is not the goal. The goal is done. So you always work from the right, the goal, work from the right and go left. So we're done. We need to get one of these out of testing so we can move more stuff in here. Because this is packed up with 3, we want to swarm from these other groups into testing, test a couple things, get them to done so we can move some more of these dev stuff that are done into testing and so on and so forth. And that's the idea behind that effort. And that's Kanban in a nutshell. Now there's other things, and you have daily stand-ups if you want. Most Kanban teams do a retrospective. Most Kanban teams do a demo of some sort. In the done phase, they could be demonstrating to their client on a continuous basis. If it's got different people, right? This is the difference. If everyone's working on the same product and it's flowing through, you don't need a sprint. You don't need a review or a sprint review like in Scrum. However, if everyone is doing different things, different stories, and they really don't get to see what the other story is all about and how it's being developed, then you're going to do something more like a sprint review, because then you want everyone to get together to witness the feedback from the stakeholders as we deliver product so that they can all grow. And that's that growth part that people don't do. Anyway, so I wanted to share that with you. That's basic Kanban. Again, what to look for as an Agile project manager. 1, do they have WIP limits? Are they using the WIP limits? 3, do they have the columns based on different phases of work? And 4, are they swarming when the WIP limit gets full? Or are they just still picking up more stuff? And I guess 5 is, are they really working from right to left? Right to left. So starting with the done, moving stuff from testing into done, moving dev stuff into testing, and moving analysis stuff into dev, right? That's the idea. And then the last thing on their list is to bring stuff from to do into analysis, and from the product backlog into to do. So they have their little group of stories they want to do. Now, the other thing they may do as a group, look at the things in to do and make sure they're really ready to be worked, and make sure before they move them into to do that they had analyzed and looked at the stories and make sure there's enough information to actually do it in a timely manner, because a lot of them have turnaround time promises. So with that, I want to say have a great day. Happy scrumming, happy Kanbaning, I guess, today. And that gives you just a basics idea of Kanban and how it kind of fits into Scrum. And then tomorrow is our fun day. So I have to come up with something fun to share with everyone to do with their teams. And you have a great day. Take care, enjoy, and see you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget tonight,